trade rumors starting to circulate around Julius Randle, I thought it would be a good opportunity to go through some Julius Randle trade destinations here on Knicks Now. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Let's dive into it. A lot of smoke has been surrounding the Knicks and Randle and a potential another big move that Leon Rose could be making. But I want to go back to what Ian Begley said about a month and a half ago. He did an article predicting the moves that the New York Knicks were going to make this offseason, and he predicted an extension for Jalen Brunson, but he did not predict that an extension with Julius Randle would get done. And I will tell you this right now. If Randle does not put pen to paper on an extension to agree to be a New York Knick for the foreseeable future, the trade rumors are going to heat up, and we may just have seen him the last time wearing a New York Knicks uniform. Let's just quickly go over some talking points on the show. What's up with the extension? Is he going to sign it? Is he not going to sign it? Are the Knicks going to give him a max contract extension? That's TBD. The New York Knicks front office, led by Leon Rose, is one of the most forward-thinking front offices in the NBA. They do not want to enter a season with Randle entering a potential expiring deal and running the risk of losing him in free agency for nothing. There's no doubt that Randle's a top player in this league. 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player. There are not many players that could do what Randle can do and that are better than Julius Randle. There's no doubt about that. I'm not just trading to trade him. I want to get somebody that's good. Also, Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson, they were 11-1 together. 11-1 together. You got to take note of that. They were the best team in the NBA. They were blowing the doors off teams, winning by an average margin of 18 points per game. But he's also had 2 major injuries in each of the last 2 seasons. And he's going to be 30 at the end of November. Until that contract extension is signed, we are going to talk about Randle trade rumors because everyone else is talking about Julius Randle trade rumors. Mark Burman, former New York Knicks insider of the New York Post, said Leon Rose was in the first row of the presser yesterday with Mikal Bridges. He didn't talk, but he's still cooking. He wants to make another big move, and a big move for a center after Philadelphia's 76ers 2 additions this offseason. He heard that Houston's Sengun has been on their radar, even Detroit's Jalen Duren, and that was before the Pistons signed Paul Reed. Burman's not the only one, like me, poking this fire. CP, the franchise, and Knicks Fan TV, shout out to CP and all the awesome things they do over there, says, I don't think they're done. I think there's one more move they want to make. I think there's a big swing they want to make. And he mentioned by name Karl-Anthony Towns as the player the New York Knicks are interested in, and he said the Knicks like Karl-Anthony Towns more than they do Julius Randle. As long as an extension is not signed, the idea of trading Julius Randle is real. Do we really think the Knicks are going to enter the season with an opportunity to lose Julius Randle in free agency for nothing? No. They are way too smart and way too forward thinking of a group. So I'll ask you, they could re-sign him. I'm sure they want to re-sign him. But I'm sure there's only a certain dollar amount that they're willing to sign up for. I think Randle's going to want as much money as possible. And I don't blame him for that at all. You see an OG Anunoby get $42.5 million. Why would he not want to make more than that? He's more accomplished, and some would say a better player. Should the Knicks trade Julius Randle? Type T for trade, type K for keep. All righty. I've got 3 Julius Randle trade destinations, and then I got a dark horse as well. Let's start with the Houston Rockets. And this stems from the report from Mark Burman that the New York Knicks are interested in Alperen Sengun. But it goes much deeper than that. We talked about Alperen Sengun 8 days ago on this channel before Burman even reported it. That's why you subscribe. We were first again. But the Rockets are starving for a star. We've heard all offseason long they wanted to trade for Kevin Durant. They want to trade for Devin Booker. They want to add anybody on their team that's going to put butts in seats at the Toyota Center. Nobody wants to, I don't care how good Rockets fans want to tell me as I grew up in Houston, how good Alperen Sengun is and how good Jabari Smith and Jalen Green are. No one goes to watch them play because they're not box office. They're not stars, and that's exactly what the Houston Rockets organization is looking for. Sengun's got the skill set of a star, but he doesn't have the juice and the power of a star. And they haven't signed him yet off of his rookie extension. Could they be waiting to capitalize on cap space? Absolutely. But as long as you don't sign someone to an extension and another team is interested in trading for you, you're going to be a player that has trade rumors circulating around them. What's a trade idea? I saw this on the internet. Alperen Sengun, Dillon Brooks, Steven Adams to the New York Knicks, with Randle and Robinson going to Houston. Maybe the New York Knicks have to add a second-round pick or two, or maybe the Rockets have to add a couple of second-round picks. This would be the framework. This works money-wise. I think this would be the type of deal. The Rockets want to have a defensive identity. They do. They're a team. What's the Rockets head coach name? I'm blanking on it. Ime Udoka. How could I forget the legend who cheated on Nia Long? But he wants to have a defensive-minded team. He wants to have toughness. Mitchell Robinson is more his speed when it comes to style of center than Alperen Sengun. We heard 7 months ago that the Rockets don't want to extend both Green and Sengun. They're going to choose one of them. We'll find out who it's going to be. Team number 2 to keep your eyes on when it comes to a Randle trade is the Minnesota Timberwolves. It's Karl-Anthony Towns. Again, CAA Mafia, blooded in, Northeast native. Leon Rose loves him. Worldwide West loves him from his days at Kentucky. The Knicks love Karl-Anthony Towns. And you know what? I think there's a couple reasons why they love him. We'll talk about it, but I will say this. Julius Randle is a better basketball player than Cat. Karl-Anthony Towns could never be the number 1 option on a team and lead them to the 4th seed. Could not happen. I don't think that Karl-Anthony Towns could be the number 2 option on a team, second best player more so, that wins 50 games, because he was not that for the Minnesota Timberwolves this past year. But I do think that the on-the-court fit, playing alongside Brunson and Bridges and DiVincenzo and Hart and Anunoby, I think the fit with Cat is a little bit better. He spaces the floor a little bit more. He could shoot the outside shot. He's a little bit more efficient, not as reckless. I think the Knicks want to play 5 out. The Knicks want to match the Boston Celtics. The Knicks want to have an open paint for Jalen Brunson to cook. It's hard to do that when you got Mitchell Robinson and Julius Randle playing from the foul line down consistently. But putting on my tinfoil hat and trying to think of the future, more so than the on-the-court fit, why would the Knicks want to trade for Karl-Anthony Towns? And there's a couple of reasons outside of that. One, he's under team control until 2026, 2027. Randle may be a free agent next summer. But more importantly, the Knicks could couple Randle and Robinson's contract to get Cat, and then in 2026, 2027, the New York Knicks would have one player making $57.6 million that would keep them in the running for if a player like Giannis, Devin Booker, someone of that nature becomes available. It's a numbers game in trades. You got to match salary. And I think that's something the New York Knicks are definitely thinking about if the relationship and the continuity and the on-the-court fit doesn't work out with Karl-Anthony Towns. I think it'd be a 3-team trade, and Heavy Sports came up with this trade idea. I also want to make it clear, I'm not saying I'd do any of these trades. I'm just parlaying the information to you. I'll tell you the trade I'll do at the end of the show. But Karl-Anthony Towns and Nick Richards going to the Knicks. We've heard that Richards is a player of interest for this basketball team, with Randle, McBride, and Robinson going to Minnesota, and the Knicks doing a sign-and trade to send Precious Achiuwa to Charlotte. This deal can't happen, though, if Precious Achiuwa doesn't want to play for the Charlotte Hornets. That's a major development in these sign-and-trade situations. The Detroit Pistons are another team that I could see calling up the Knicks and saying, we want Randle on our squad. Hell, they just gave Tobias Harris $40 million a year. As desperate and as hungry as the Houston Rockets are to add some star power, Detroit wants a star bad. Detroit basketball. They're trying to bring it back. They don't have anyone to lean on. And as we've seen, Randle could be the face of the organization. He could be a player that can lead you to success. And there's a reason that the Knicks are checking in on Jalen Duren, according to Mark Burman. Who are you giving up for Duren? Mitchell Robinson? I'm not saying I would trade Randle for Duren. Just trying to connect dots here. There have to be more coming back the Knicks' way. But I'm always trying to think ahead and look at what could be coming down the pipeline. Duren's a really good young player. Averaged 14 and 12 last year, hauling in 3 offensive rebounds a game. High flyer, can grow as a shot blocker, extremely athletic, has nice soft hands, good soft touch around the rim as well. I liked him a lot coming out of college. He could be a player the Knicks are trying to run with as the starting center of this team going into the prime years of Brunson, Bridges, OG, DiVincenzo, and Hart. I think the Detroit trade would have to be a 3-team deal because just getting back Duren for Randle doesn't make all that much sense to me. Maybe you could parlay that into we get something back from somebody else. We get picks back from Detroit. It's not a perfect trade. It'd have to be sticky, and they'd have to make some things work. But I think that this is something that the New York Knicks are definitely thinking about. And that's why people are talking about Duren as a player the Knicks are interested in. So you got the Houston Rockets. You got the Minnesota Timberwolves. And you got the Detroit Pistons. Trading for Alperen Sengun is my number one Julius Randle trade idea. Towns, I don't love him. I get the fit, and I think I understand their line of thinking. I still don't love it because I think Randle's a better player than Cat. And the Pistons, I don't love it. Just trying to connect some dots. The Los Angeles Clippers, though, are a dark horse Julius Randle destination for me. With them losing Paul George in NBA free agency, I think they could be looking to kind of reload that star power that he is leaving. Maybe you get a package going of Zubac or somebody else to go with him that could make some sense. Maybe Norm Powell and Zubac. Maybe Trey Mann and Zubac. Or Terrence Mann, excuse me. Something along those lines. I would just keep my eyes on that situation as well. I know this. If the Knicks make a move and it involves Randle, it involves anybody else, we're going to be making a video for you. So subscribe and turn the notifications on. And let's continue the conversation over on social media. Hit me up on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_ and on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Let's go, Knicks.